A very good evening and a warm welcome to Uctv News. Thank you so much for joining me this evening, wherever you're watching from. Welcome. My name is Nora Sende to bring you this bulletin. It is a Monday, the 31st of March, 2025. And as we wind out the month, we just want to wish everyone a very happy evening. We are starting off our newscast this evening with the Forum for Democratic Change that has called for immediate withdrawal of the Uganda People's Defense Forces troops, that's from South Sudan, citing concerns over the safety of Ugandans residing in the country. During a press briefing at the FDC headquarters in Najanankumbi today, Hassan Kaps Fungaro, who is the party deputy president for Northern Region, urged Parliament to pressure the government to pull out its troops. Kaps Fungaro describes the UPDF deployment as illegitimate, adding that it is not a neutral peacekeeping mission, but rather one that favors one side of the ongoing conflict with SPLA in opposition and South Sudan People's Defense Force.
The Uganda People's Defense Forces, UPDF, deployed troops to South Sudan on March 11, 2025 as part of Operation Mlinzi wa Kimya to address growing political instability. Whereas this was later approved by the parliament, it raised concerns among its lawmakers and critics for not considering their stand before executing the deployment. Meanwhile, the Sudan People's Liberation Movement, in opposition, led by Vice President Riek Machar, protested the deployment by deciding to boycott joint government activities. According to Forum for Democratic Change, South Sudan is being unhappy about this deployment poses a significant threat to the safety of Ugandans living in this country.
It is bad because it is going to put Ugandans who are struggling in South Sudan there doing business in danger. The Ugandans who are there in South Sudan are already facing threats of revenge on them. If you are from here, from the central region of Uganda, you speak Luganda, you speak Wewe, this Kiswahili language, you become a target. So therefore, regardless of what the UPDF does in South Sudan, the people of South Sudan should not target the Ugandans who are there.
FDC's Northern Region Deputy President, Hassan Kaps Fungaro, advocates for the immediate release of the arrested Vice President Riek Machar, and also called for the promotion of the UN mission in South Sudan from a peacekeeping agency to a peace enforcement force.
One person is under arrest, the other one has arrested him. How can someone who has been arrested talk with someone who has arrested him? Talk what now? The terms and conditions or the output of that talk will not be an agreement of peace. It cannot be called peace agreement. It's called maybe surrender agreement. One of them must surrender into the hands of the other. And if necessary, if the conditions are necessary for a higher level use of force, UNIMIS should be upgraded from a peacekeeping mission to a peace enforcement mission under the guidance of the United Nations. If there is more need for troops, new troops should be deployed to support UNIMIS from neutral countries, excluding Uganda, because Uganda has already lost.
Fungaro reveals that his party members are preparing to table a motion in the August House to compel the government into withdrawing UPDF from South Sudan as an attempt to sanitize and position Uganda as a neutral peacekeeping agent with no intention of interfering in internal affairs of South Sudan.
Parliament should reconsider its position. That position of Parliament of saying we support the deployment of UPDF to South Sudan is irregular. Parliament did not give sufficient time and depth to analyze the deployment. First of all, the terms and conditions for deployment. What called for the deployment? What was going to be the nature of the deployment? The Parliament needed to examine this. Was it going to be a peacekeeping, peace enforcement, or they're going to be allying to one side of the conflict and fighting everywhere? The stated reason was that they were going to protect Juba. Protect Juba against what? This deployment here, in this particular case, was not properly examined by Parliament. Parliament should re-examine its position, and a motion should be moved in Parliament for the withdrawal of the UPDF from South Sudan. That's the second position of the FDC.
amid the severe allegations that UPDF is undertaking discriminatory bombardments, which are leaving civilian casualties. The Army's acting deputy spokesperson, Colonel Chris Magezi, noted that their involvement in South Sudan is fully authorized and supported by the South Sudan government as a way of promoting regional peace and security, particularly in conflict-prone areas of South Sudan. Joseph Kabari, UCTV News.
Let's now take a look at today in history. And that marks the end of our newscast this evening. It has been nice having you on UCTV News. My name is Nora Osende. From the entire team behind the scene, we wish you a lovely evening. Good night.